Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul with your host, me, Tisha Michelle. Hey guys, what's up? How y'all feeling? All right, before we jump into the podcast or start expressing some gratitude, I do want to give you two quick announcements. One, I have launched this thing where I've opened up some time on my schedule to just have some soulful chat, some soulful conversations. This is not something that I'm charging. This is not something to upsell you at the end of it. Just a vibe. Just want to start having these conversations. I've done really well with my morning routine where I've created like a lot of space. So I'm not rushing and my day isn't crazy. So I'm very grateful that I am in a position to create my schedule the way that I want. So when I get up in the morning, I can do these different things. Right now, I listen to a particular podcast. I'm also doing on my 40-day journey. Sometimes I pull a card. I lay in the bed and I have conversations with God. And I make my hot chocolate. While the hot chocolate is making, I jump on my exercise bike. I just have all this space. And like this morning, I had one of previous clients, like she called me. And she was just like, hey, like, are you busy? And I was like, no, just making my hot chocolate. And it felt good for a couple of reasons. One, it was because I wasn't busy and I had space to have a conversation with someone and didn't have to like book a schedule and look on the calendar and all that. For whatever that reason was with her, she needed to call me. And I had that space for it. And two, I didn't feel guilty for saying that I wasn't busy. There was a time before that it really burns me up when people ask me like what I'm doing. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing. But it used to burn me up because if I wasn't busy, I felt like, I should have been busy. Like I feel super weird, or I'll just say I'm doing something. I'm really not doing anything. But you know what? And it felt good. And when we were done with the conversation, I was telling her how I opened up my calendar for this. Now, she didn't know because it wasn't like she went through one there, but just to have these soulful conversations, and they just beautiful. So anyway, so back to the announcement. So the announcement is, because I only had put it out there to like on Instagram. And if you just want to talk, right? It doesn't matter what it is, what it's about. You just want to just have a conversation. You can go I have a couple of slots, throughout the week, and I can't remember off the top of my head. It might be something like Mondays and Fridays or something. I don't know. But anyway, you can just go to my website, which is www.healaligneglow.com, and glow is GLO. Or if you're connected to me on social media, you can at Mindset Slayer on Instagram, and you can click the link there, which will lead you to the soulful. I think it's like soulful chats or conversation. It's just a 30-minute, like, let's just vibe. Let's just rock out in the morning. Let's just have a conversation. Just let spirit guide the conversation. So, and I would love to connect with more of you. And it doesn't have to be in a setting where you are a client of mine and you choose to work with me. If you want to work with me, feels like I resonate, I'm definitely open to that. But, also outside of that. So the second announcement is my Heal, Align, and Glow retreat for the mind, body, and soul. It's March 24th to the 28th, and it's going to be in Shenandoah Caverns in Virginia. I actually this is my first time, I think, talking about this on the podcast, because I did open it up to previous retreat people first and then to my email list, and I have one shared room left. So if you want to get some more information about it, you can reach me a couple of different ways. One, you can send me a text. Don't actually call. Send it because of the number that I'm giving. So send me a text message to area code 804-938-1500. 79, and just send me a text message saying that you would like information on the retreat. I can send you some information, and also while we're texting back and forth, I can schedule a time so we can actually hop on the phone and I can answer questions if you want to actually like talk about it and see if it's a good fit for you. Or you can go contact me at Mindset Slayer on Instagram. Just send me a DM or email me Tisha at healalignglow.com. Yeah. All right. So those are the two announcements. All right. So let's express a little gratitude over here. In this present moment, I would definitely say that I'm grateful for being able to really just recognize how God shows up in my life. Like, I need to give credit where credit is due. So as much as, I can run around acting like I'm in control and stuff, like I'm not the creator, right? So when I'm seeing things that most people, including myself, don't see how that just happened. Like, what just happened? How is the red carpet just rolled out like that? Like, holy shit, was that a magic trick? Like, how did that happen? I'm like, man, that's just through the grace of God. So I want to be able to see how God is showing up in my life all the time and everything, not just the big things, but every single thing. So when I was really scanning to see what I'm grateful for, I'm like, that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. So yeah. All right. So what about you? What you grateful for? Unless you're driving or operating some heavy machinery or something, I definitely want you to close your eyes. And we're just going to take a few minutes to just breathe intentionally, right? We're going to breathe intentionally. And what I mean by that, we're just going to take some deep breaths, right? So now I want you to take a deep breath, but I want you to just breathe in through your nose and just let it out through your mouth. All right, let's do it again. Another deep breath, breathing in through your nose and just letting it out through your mouth. All right, let's just do one more together. A nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and letting it out through your mouth. What are you guys grateful for? Check in. Express that gratitude. Scan your life. Scan the moment. Scan the last, 10 minutes of your day, 2 hours of your day. Are you grateful that you're in a position right now to even listen to this podcast? You might be multitasking, or this might be the time that you take to just like be like for yourself. Like, what are you grateful for? All right. So I have a couple of questions for you guys. Like, what do you like? Like, what do you like? Or like, what do you love to do? What do you do for fun? Tell me what makes you feel good. Here's a big one. Do you have a hobby? And if so, how often do you do it? Do you know how you like to feel? So now my question for you is, how did it make you feel when I asked those questions? Like, as I was asking the questions, were you answering the questions? Were you saying what you like and what you don't like and what you do for fun? Did you laugh at a hobby like, what's that? Or what's a hobby? I don't have no time for that. Did my questions give you any anxiety? Did it make you like cry or maybe, drop a little tear? Did you answer the question by saying, I don't know? And if you did, how did that make you feel? So I'm asking you these questions because that's been the theme lately. That's been the theme lately with just so many different people that I've talked to and just the way that it's been presenting itself. And I get it because I've definitely been there for sure. And it's just been real interesting, right? So I was having a conversation. Actually, you know what? When I look at this theme, the very first person that said this to me about themselves was actually a man. It wasn't even one of my ladies. It was a man. And, he had a quick vulnerable moment and he said, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. I just don't know. And I was like, It was heavy because I felt that from this person, but I also felt it for me. Because I'm there. I've been there. I'm there. And it's like, what is it? What are the answers to those questions, right? So I was talking to my homegirl, and she's another one that this came up, and she said that this is something that she was actually speaking on within like herself, and she was saying how easy it is to lose yourself in the craziness of motherhood and marriage and work and extended family and life, just trying to be something to everyone but ourselves. Right. So, I was, messaging back, and, I said, something to like, doing things for like ourselves. And she said that she's been real intentional lately with putting herself first and taking time for herself. And then she said in that midst of doing that is where she found out that she hardly even knows who she is or what she likes or what she wants. And she's been so wrapped up in the support role for so long. And that it was like insane. Like, is that you? Does that resonate with you? Are you somebody that's been so wrapped up in the support role for so long that you don't even really know yourself, and you don't have the answers to those questions because you feel like, who has time for that? Or everything else is just piling up and all. So, another thing that we were talking about is, and she said that, she feels like it's about being real and honest and transparent, like with yourself. And identifying and stating that it's a terrifying space to be in. And she went on to say that she believes because we've had someone or something to attach ourselves to. It's like when the kids are grown and gone out the house, or the marriage is over, or the job or the career is over, like, now what? Like, now what? So I started talking to her, and I said something about the hobbies, like why we don't have hobbies, why we don't have a hobby. And she was like, we don't have hobbies because we don't set boundaries. And I'm like, that part right there. And I proceeded to tell her, I said, what if we had boundaries in place, right? And we had hobbies, right? How much of a better support person could we be to other people if we made time for ourselves and the things that we like and the things that we enjoy, or that hobby? Maybe that hobby is fishing. I don't know. Even me thinking of different like hobbies and stuff, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Like, what do I say is a hobby? And the only reason why I said fishing just now was because in my mind's eye, I seen people fishing. So maybe that's for one of you guys. Maybe your hobby used to be fishing or something, or I don't know, or you used to go with like your dad or your grandfather or somebody like fishing. If so, bring it back, baby, bring it back. And something that she said, my friend said when we were talking about the hobbies, and she's like, yeah, if we had the hobbies, then maybe we wouldn't be, so irritated and annoyed by the things that we have to do, right? Because we know we're carving out our space, we're doing what we got to do, but we're also carving out that space for us, right? And I was telling her, and I said, like, this just brings me back to school. Like, oh my God, we spend so many hours in school. Like, if you're going to have us away from the home and stuff, like, can you teach us some life stuff? That's a whole other conversation. Can we teach us some things, versus some of the things that we learned in school that we don't need now. I would have loved to been able to replace that with a class about boundary. How many people, and I know some of you listening that work with me in that space, where it's like, I don't know what a boundary is. What actually is a boundary? So we have to start from there. So I would love to take a class about creating boundaries, and, how to set them. My friend was like, she said, in the art of not being hard-hearted, like in the process, right? Being that it's a true skill to like express love for yourself or for other people. Like, God, man, we just value so many other things versus things that truly matter to to like our heart. Then I had a conversation with this one was with a client, and she was saying these things, and I said, okay, so what are you doing for you? She's like, oh no, I have a hard time with that. It's just too much that has to be done. No. What we're not going to do is talking about all those different things And this could be a solution to you. I was like, so we need to do something. So I gave her homework and I gave her a task and I said, call this person, see if they could watch your son. And then I want you to go schedule that prenatal massage, right? Because that was something that she was saying that she's been wanting to do, but just haven't, not that she didn't have the time, make the time, right? Make the time, right? And I was like, no, go do it. That's what you got to do. Then I was talking to another friend of mine, and she was talking about, just having conversation, with, with her husband, and, how he was saying that this is his role, and he's being like the provider, and not only just like the provider, like he that's what he has to focus on. Like it's hard for him to be able to be at home with the kids, and like there's a kid crying, but then still being able to do critical thinking. He was like, I just can't do it. He's like, I see how you do it. Like, you hold this down. I just can't see it. And, and when she was talking to me, she said, but I do that. I have to use my critical thinking, when I'm working from home, but also with the kid, right? But we're so like, especially as women, this is for both people. Like, we have to remember that we matter, right? We matter. So, and we can do these things. And just because we can do these things doesn't mean we need to wear them out. And when I say that, meaning like doing things for yourself, right? Let's just do things for yourself. My youngest daughter, the 16-year-old, she like came in my room in the other day, and she was like, I just, she's like, how they say, and they could be me and could be like TikTok. And she's like, how they say, like, get back to what you did like as a childhood, or sometimes people will say, like, now that I look at it, and when she's watching like these documentaries of people, they'll just be like, yeah, I didn't really realize that what I'm doing now is actually similar to what I used to do when I was like a little kid. And so she was like, how I'm always telling you that, I'm meant to do something like creative. And she's like, I know you remember that time when I was little, and she had a little, how you get like those, the plastic bags from like a grocery store, like Kroger, Food Line, whatever you got, wherever you at. And I remember her doing something with it, and then she stepped into it and she pulled it up, and homegirl had a shirt. I don't remember how old she was. She might have been like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 or something. I'm like, or maybe even a little younger. I'm like, yo, actually, she was younger than that. I'm tripping talking about with the black hair. She probably was like 4 or 5. And I was like, you're just so creative. You're just so creative. And like, she remembers that. She was like, yeah. And then I used to always be in the mirror acting like people were, she's like, I didn't know what it was called then. She was like, but I would be doing tutorials in the mirror about makeup and getting ready with me. And she was young. I mean, she's 16 now. So she was like hella young. And she was doing that. And she was like, so I just remember that. It stands out so much. And like, I just want to just like, I want to like bring that in. And I was like, well, anything is creative. And I said, and the way to tap into your creativity is to just do something. Just do some things. You don't have to know exactly what it is. I'm like, dude, you're 16. Like, it's definitely okay. So I said, just do something. Just do something with that creativity to bring it out. And like, I'm instilling a lot of things into, her, because she's, her and mainly her. I mean, got the 11-year-old too. He's a boy. But instilling these things into them, because I wasn't like consciously aware of a lot of these things and stuff to really instill to the older two. So I'm giving it to them now, because they're older. So things I'm learning and experiencing, I'm definitely sharing with them so they can apply it into their life. And then I have the 2 younger ones. It's like, all right, so my daughter is 16. You don't have to be in your 20s and your 30s saying, damn, what do I like to do for fun? Like, what do I like, or any of that? Because I want you to identify that stuff. Now, of course, things are going to change, right? Some stuff, but it's not like she's going to be older and then really confused and feeling like she lost herself. So I want to be able to help her in that sense of there too. And I love how she came into my room and said that and was like, yeah, because I just remember doing this and I just know I'm supposed to be. Yes, those are your breadcrumbs, baby. Those are your breadcrumbs. Follow that shit. Follow it, because it's going to make you smile. It's going to make you smile. So if you are someone that, felt some type of way about that, and like, don't have a hobby, or don't even think you have time for that, or just don't take any time like for yourself, or you're like, dang, I don't know what I want. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what makes me feel good. I don't know what I enjoy. I just don't know. I just don't know. You too. We need to go a little bit deeper. Y'all already know I'm always spending about going deeper. But seriously, like, so what do we do? I say the first thing that we do is tell ourselves that I matter too, right? Literally say it. Say, I matter. Like, I 100% matter. The second thing is I definitely would say give yourself proof of concept, proof that you matter. Like, we need that as humans. We need to have proof. So it's like, nah, I don't know if that water. It's like you standing at the pool, right? And you standing at the pool, and then like you're like, no, it's cold. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. And if people are like, no, it's warm. It's warm. Nah, the water is warm. I'm seriously, it's warm. And you're like, nah, that water is cold. I don't want to get All right, they're telling you that it's warm, and they're in the water, and they're like, no, it's warm. I promise you. But the way your brain is working, the way my brain is working, it was like, nah, I don't believe that. So I need proof of concept that water is actually warm. But how do I get that? I go put my hand in the water. I go put my foot in the water. I say, screw it, and I just jump in that bitch. But I got to get in the water. And I got to get in the water to feel that it's warm. And it's like, okay, it's warm. So now I have proof of concept. And that's my proof of concept that water is not actually cold. It's warm. Even though everybody else around me was saying it, I got to believe that. I got to feel that. So the third, what do? How do you get that proof of concept? You get that by doing something. You get that by getting in the water, right? You get in the water. So when you do something, and then I want you to notice, how does that make you feel, right? So when one of my clients, when I was talking to her and we were talking about this, and I said, I want you to notice, once you schedule that appointment for yourself and go get the pedicure and go get the prenatal massage, like after you schedule it, I want you to think about and pay attention to how you feel. And she said, well, what if it makes me feel, what if it makes me feel anxious and I feel anxiety? I was like, great, breadcrumbs, right? And I said, all right. I said, so then ask yourself, what is anxious about this? Why am I feeling this anxiety? What is it that is bothering me with that? So when you're asking yourself that question, if it is like, so maybe that's you, and you were like, I'm going to go schedule that. Okay. Well, what was the thoughts? Why do you feel like that? You already secured a babysitter. So what's the problem? So I was telling her, I said, this is how you can, talk your way through it into the sense to say, wait a minute, it's just me tripping. I'm bugging. There's really nothing for me to be anxious about. In actuality, that energy that I'm feeling might not be anxious. Maybe it's actually really excitement. So let's turn that energy into excitement. Like, I'm actually excited that I'm going to go get that massage. Like, man, I've been wanting to do that. Right. So you do something for yourself. And what is that something that you do for yourself? I don't know. Maybe you want to draw close to God, and maybe that's what's making you feel good about yourself, right? Understanding more of like your purpose. Maybe you want to go for a walk. Maybe put your phone on do not disturb. If you got the iPhone and you got the update, the iOS update is focus, right? Put that on there. Maybe not just at nighttime. Mine goes on from 10 p.m. to I adjust. It was 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I was like, let's get it to 8. So, that's something that I do for me. And because I do that, it's also contributing to the space that I've created in the mornings, right? The space that I've created at nighttime, right? No. Maybe you have kids, teach your kids how to do laundry, assign them some chores, right? Maybe you hire a cook, hire a nanny, hire the little drop cleaners, house cleaners. I think I probably even talked about this in a podcast before too. And if the first thing when I said that about hiring someone and you thought like, well, I can't afford that, or like, no, I can clean my own house and stuff, which is all very, very, could be very much true. I just want you to explore it a little bit and just say, what would it feel like if I didn't have to clean the house? What would it feel like if I had someone that did our laundry and folded everything away? Like, what would I do with that space? And this might not be for everyone, take it if it resonates, and if it makes you feel uncomfortable, kind of have a little more of a conversation with yourself just to see where that's leading you to. Maybe something that you do for yourself is you buy the cereal that you want, even if you're the only one in the house that eats it. Like, why should you not have some cereal? I know you might be thinking, yeah, but I'm the only one that's going to eat it, so it doesn't make much sense to get that. Might as well get the cereal that everybody eats. No, get the damn cereal and stop playing. Maybe you just need to say no. Maybe you need to say yes. Maybe people are asking you to go out with them and just like, oh, come out and just, have a drink. Even if you don't even drink, get something virgin. Maybe that's there. Give yourself, that permission to get all dolled up and, and go out. Same thing for you too, with my guys. For my guys that's listening, maybe your people are asking you to come, play basketball with them at the YMCA or something. On the weekends, go. Even if you don't play, maybe you just gonna go. I mean, I'm just about to be the hype man. I'm about to hype y'all up because I ain't fooling around with y'all on this court. Whatever it is, like, just do that. Maybe you just call up a friend and ask them a question. Say, what did you used to love to do when you were a kid? Maybe they can answer that question. Maybe there's someone that really remembers their childhood and remembers those things, and they can talk to you, and you can just hear the passion and the joy in their voice, and it might spark something with you. But it's also, you're giving them that energy too, reminding them of their childhood and the things that they like. It might spark something for them to go and do. Or, if you are in a position, like if your parents are still alive and you have a relationship with them, call like your mom or your dad and ask them, what did I used to pretend to be when I was little? Like, what was that about? What did I used to do when I was little that would like pluck y'all nerves? Was it because I had a whole bunch of instruments and I was just making noise with the instrument that was there, and anything that made noise, I was doing that? Maybe it's music. Maybe music is something that makes you feel good. I know what it is for me. Music was always my therapy. Especially some Mary J. Blige, right? Where my married people at? It was just like, you listen to the lyrics of like damn near all of her songs. I'm like, yo, that's my pain. That's my life right there. But, listening to music and listening to like her words, like no more pain, no more trauma, right? And listening to these words and knowing that I'm not alone with feeling like that, that helped me to feel good, right? Wasn't necessarily about being sad, but it helped me to feel good, to say, oh, I'm not alone, so nothing's wrong with me, right? That's giving myself something. That's letting myself letting myself know that I matter. I was about to mess that up. But, just by even listening to music and knowing I wasn't alone. So because I knew that I wasn't alone, I knew that nothing was wrong with me, right? That nothing was wrong with me. And I think that it's important because, if we look at it as like life here, on earth, it's a temporary thing. Nobody said that we was going to be here on earth forever. Like, nobody said that. You know what I'm saying? Not in a human sense. We're not going to be here forever. It's a temporary thing. So if it's a temporary thing, why not like literally live our best life? So something for me is like, I want to live my best life while serving the world. So that's what we about to do, right? That's what Tisha about to do. I'm going to continue serving, but I also want to live my best life. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like many things, but one is, what do I like to do? What do I want to do? There's some things that I haven't even experienced yet that might be amazing for me. And that's where the hobby comes in at. I don't know about you, but I look at everything as like, oh, if I could create this, oh, let me go and sell this. And I remember saying recently, I was like, man, I get excited about some things. And then I'm like, oh, I can make this. Oh, I just made this. This is good. It makes me feel good. Oh, the next thing is, oh, I can sell this. I can create this, put this on my store. And the next thing you know, it becomes work. And I don't like it anymore. At the retreat, one of the activities that we're going to do is we're going to make jewelry, like with crystals. And we're also going to make soap, right? To just to tap into that creativity, just to use our hands, right? And just be present and focus on, this creation and how this is going to come out, and just going through that process and just allowing so much space and things to like drop in because we're being creative. And like, for me, it was like being creative and like, oh, bet I could sell this too. And I'm like, stop. You can do things just to do it, right? Maybe something that you could do is go to Udemy or go to like Skillshare, or what's the other one? I don't know. That's good to start with, Udemy and Skillshare. And go on there and just start searching through the classes that they're teaching on there. Something pop out to you. And it's not necessarily you're doing this, because it's going to give me this skill to do this and to do that, because then it becomes work. Just allow yourself to scan through all of the classes and stuff and just see what jumps out at you and click on it. Look at the sample video, read the definition. Is it sparking something in you? Just be like, I wouldn't mind doing this. I wouldn't mind learning to knit. I wouldn't mind learning to sew. I wouldn't mind this. Oh, I think it'll be pretty cool to know how to do this. I think it'll be pretty cool to do that. But you're not attaching anything with it other than just to do it. This is how we explore. Like, this is how we explore. So guys, right now, I want you to think of something, like, for real, be for real, be honest with yourself. Think of something that you could do right now that is just for you. And I need you to do it. Whether that is picking up the phone and calling someone if you have kids and asking them, can they watch the, kids for you or kid? Or maybe it's sending a text message to, someone you haven't talked to in a little bit and just saying, hey, I would love to hop on the phone and let's just catch up with each other, but not just leave it like that. Let's actually set up the time. You never know. They might say, hey, I'm actually free right now. I'm driving. You want to talk now? And if so, trust that. Get on the phone. Get on the phone. Take that time out of your day. Catch up with a friend. Catch up with a family member. Like, whatever it may be, just have a conversation. That's something you could do. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now and you're burnt out, but you got so many things to do, and then, oh my God, I got to put the clothes in the laundry. You know what you could do for yourself? If you don't have anybody else in the house to do it, don't do it tonight. It's all right. It'll be okay. I'm pretty sure everything's not dirty. And if so, it'll still be okay. The thing that you're taking for you is you're not going to be on that it's like you're on that last thing, that last thread, and it's really thin. And just by going to do that laundry, you might have a breakdown. Or you might get super mad at your kid that runs behind you and says, mommy, and you snap on them. Because you're tired. You're physically tired. Your soul is tired. Because you're not doing anything for you. So again, what can you do for yourself right now? Whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's medium, like whatever. Because your small might be big to me and vice versa. So it doesn't matter. Just think of something that you can do right now for you. And I want you to go and do it. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignglow.com.